Politico has a pretty good story about the Democratic strategy and its lack of effectiveness so far in getting gun control passed. Now, it's been over 100 days since Sandy Hook. Every day, 33 more people are killed by gun homicides. And, that gun violence continues to rage on, yet there has not been very much action. When Newtown's first selectman was asked, she's essentially the mayor of Newtown, the way that it works over there, did they wait too long? She said, yes, absolutely. I think it would have been much more difficult to vote against change when we're still in that first ring of response. So she's voicing a concern that a lot of people have. Hey, why don't we jump right in there? We had Congressman Yarmouth on the Young Turks from Kentucky saying if we go to vote right now, we would win immediately, right? But we didn't go to vote then. We still haven't gone to vote. When people are asked about this, and Reed Epstein writes in Politico, he says, quote, Washington insiders say that's just not how it works. No, you've got to understand. No, you rookies, you don't know how this works. In fact, Senator Pat Leahy backs him up. And he says, we've moved really fast here. He says, this was faster than just about any other piece of major legislation, with or without Newtown. I don't know what else we could have done. What else could you have possibly done? I mean, there's no way in the world any piece of legislation would get a vote in under 100 days, right? Except, of course, when they wanted to pass the Patriot Act, which was a monumental piece of legislation that was very complicated, very extensive, changed so much of how we conduct our affairs, including our civil liberties. How long did that take to pass after 9/11? Oh, we look at that. It only took 45 days. Now, look, 9/11 was a gigantic event. It was a traumatic event. And I get why legislation passed 45 days later. And I get that a lot of legislation takes a hell of a lot longer than that. But don't tell me that you can't do it. Apparently you can do it. It's just a matter of if you're really outraged, if you're really motivated. So apparently you just weren't motivated enough. Those 20 kids dying in Sandy Hook Elementary School didn't do it for you. The 26 victims overall didn't do it for you. Gabby Giffords, a fellow congresswoman, getting shot in the head, didn't do it for you. Aurora, Colorado, didn't do it for you. All of these mass shootings, apparently they just couldn't get your ass in action quickly enough. So don't tell me that you can't do it in under 100 days, because you can. And by the way, yes, it passed through Leahy's committee. It still hasn't gone up for a vote in the Senate or the House. And we're way past 100 days now and growing every day. And I say way past because you know what Congress just did? They just took a 2-week spring break vacation. So now you're going to have to wait 2 more weeks while they're in Cancun. So when Jay Carney's asked about it, he says, he's of course the White House press secretary, when he has been having conversations with Democrats and Republicans, referring to President Obama, much of the attention has focused on fiscal and budget issues in the reporting, and much of the conversation has been devoted to those topics. But they have also included conversations about comprehensive immigration reform and moving forward on gun violence measures. I love that because of what he is accidentally admitting. Oh, right. Yeah, you guys are kind of an afterthought. Most of the conversations we've been having is about the budget and how we're going to do austerity measures and how we're going to cut Social Security and Medicare and all those different things. Oh, budget. We got to cut spending. But later, when we're done with that and the tea and the crumpets, before dessert or during dessert, we talk about gun control and how we might get to it later. Gee, I wonder why it didn't have the urgency that it needed to begin to pass. And after it took so long, as you know, the assault weapons ban is gone, the high-capacity magazine ban is gone from the bill, and now we're fighting over what might be in it. In fact, Reed Epstein explains in Politico, quote, there won't be new bans on assault weapons or high-capacity ammunition magazines. Universal background checks have moved from an assumed yes to a wish list item for gun control advocates. Even a new gun trafficking law, the smallest and weakest of the issues, is not a sure thing to pass the Senate. Even the smallest and weakest piece of legislation, which is really nothing at all. I mean, it's just window dressings to make the politicians feel better. That might not even happen. And if it did, of course, you know what Obama would do? He would plant the flag and say, we have done historic gun control reform. So this is the soft bigotry of low expectations from the Democrats, forever keeping their powder dry on this issue as well. President Obama gave a good speech today about it, but what has been done in terms of action, and it's not very little, it's actually been counterproductive. We've been marching backwards ever since Sandy Hook, and we continue to march in that direction. So if you're expecting big change on this issue, well, you picked the wrong guys and the wrong party, because the Republicans are dead set against you, and the Democrats have no interest in fighting for you.